Hi there, and welcome back to the Goon Squad. Today's geeky otaku nerdy topic is going to be more nerdy because it's a little tech centered. It seems for some reason that our Google Homes have a love-hate relationship with my wife and I, and I'm gonna meander a little bit, but go with me here. Um, Repeatedly over the last 6 months, my wife has asked Google questions. What time is this open? What time is that open? What's going on here? What's going on there? And I don't know if Google has got it out for her or Google has just decided the way she's asking the question isn't the way it likes it because it consistently either shunts her to a web page or I don't know how to answer that. And then the funny thing is, I'll come along and ask it something and it'll give me the answer we were looking for. And my wife will just look at me like I've got six heads or that I'm working some kind of voodoo or that I've inadvertently or intentionally, by the way, set the Google Home to only respond to my voice and only like me. And I thought, okay, she's got a point that the Google doesn't like her for whatever reason. I don't know. She's never abused him or anything. It's not like she's making faces at it or swearing at it or cursing it out behind its back or to its face. Uh, anyways, we this goes on and on. My wife will ask it questions and it's hit or miss, or she'll ask it things and it. Um, sure enough, 2 days ago, I'm sitting in the kitchen. Now you have to understand we have a one of the smaller screen Google Homes in the kitchen. We have a smaller, same model in the bedroom, which is probably about 20 feet from the kitchen. And then we have a an older Google Home, a larger one in the spare room upstairs. And my daughter has a Google Home Mini in her bedroom. Fine and dandy. We're sitting at the kitchen table. I am not I'm less than 5 feet away from this Google Home in the kitchen. I asked this Google Home a question, and I try to enunciate fairly loudly so it doesn't misunderstand what I'm saying. I ask it, and the Google Home in the bedroom answers the question. My daughter and I look at each other and go, okay, maybe I'm talking too loudly. So for some reason, because I'm treating Google Home like a deaf person, I ramp up the volume a little bit more and ask the same question. Sure enough, the Google Home in the bedroom answers the question yet again. And my daughter now at this point, A, has nearly choked on the snack she was having and almost wet herself because she's laughing so hard. Because now she's starting to think that the Google Home has got it out for me as well as my wife. So sure enough, I think to myself, I'm going to go ask the question in the bedroom since that home seems to be the one that wants to answer my question. I walk into the bedroom. I'm now standing a foot and a half, max 2 feet away from this Google Home, and I ask the question. You got three guesses which Google Home answers my question. And I'm telling you, it's the one in the bedroom. It's not even the one in the kitchen. It's the one in the bedroom that starts answering my question. Well, now my daughter thinks I am the funniest thing on the planet because apparently I'm playing tag with my Google Homes as to which will answer the question. So now I'm frustrated. So I give up. I kind of knew the answer. I just wanted to confirm it. So be it. 2 minutes later, I walk up to the Google Home in the kitchen. I ask it about the weather, and it answers my question, no problems. The one nobody else talks. I'm like, what? Does it not like the kids' homework? Is it tired of this? Is it tired of that? I'm seriously starting to think that these things, while they're predictive in their behavior, they're starting to develop an intelligence. And if you don't use them long enough, or if you say things to each other that they interpret as insulting or offensive to the Google Home, apparently they've got feelings. They will take it out on you in various ways when you go to answer questions or have questions answered or searching for basic information. Like what time's the store open in this city? What times this on, we don't ask it hard questions. At least I don't think they're hard questions. Apparently Google has other ideas at times. Which then spins me into my next piece of tech, which is months ago we bought a new TV because my beloved plasma, we had one brownout too many, and it burnt out the panel, burnt out the circuit board. So I bought a new TV. TVs are now getting smarter than I am, and that's starting to scare me. Anyways, we've had an old Logitech Harmony One remote where it would control everything. Well, I haven't programmed it in months because we've changed pieces of equipment here and there, and to be honest with you, with streaming services, we don't watch as many movies on disc as we used to. So it's not like we're down here watching movies with the home theater system like we should. We're usually upstairs or etc. So we now have a TV remote and we have a remote for our cable provider's box. Well, the remote for the cable provider's box, they were gracious enough to program it to control the receiver as well. So I use my surround system, and when you turn on the cable box, it turns on the receiver. It all gets turned on. And then usually what I do is I reach over and grab the TV remote and turn the TV on. Now my wife has gotten lazy. My wife is and gentlemen, don't get upset. I'm not disparaging women. And I know women like things simple when it comes to technology. My wife is a one remote kind of person. So if things don't get used or work with one remote, there's frustration. So sure enough, the one night she comes down, she says, the TV won't turn on. Like, what do you mean the TV won't turn on? So now I'm thinking to myself, I've got a brand new TV and we've got problems with it. So I come down and turn the remote and I'm like, well, it's working. Well, every other time she says, I've just turned on the receiver in the cable box and it's worked. And I'm like, well, not really. And then I stop and think to myself, well, wait a minute. When I turn on my PS4, mind you, it's a Sony TV, the TV automatically flips over to the input that it's getting a signal from. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe when it gets the input from the receiver and the cable box is plugged into the receiver, maybe it'll just default to HDMI 1, which is where everything's hooked up. So now I just turn on the cable box and the receiver, and sure enough, the TV pops on and goes right to it. Sometimes you got to wait a little bit, but it does it because it's waiting for the signal. But you learn something new every day. But now my wife feels better now because when she turns everything on with one remote, it's copacetic. It works, and she's a happy camper. So if she's happy, I'm happy because you can watch your shows and everybody's good that way. And you know what? That's kind of it's a short and sweet one today, but it's really tech is on the rise, and tech is taken over in our house in some cases, and sometimes that tech is so much smarter than us that I think it's just playing games with us. Anyways, until the next time, that's all for the Goon Squad. Have a great day.